What's going on, everyone? So I have an exciting new card, well, actually two exciting new cards that were spoiled this morning for you all. It is a pretty sweet day, and let's just dive right into it. If you want to pick up any of the cards shown in this video when the sets do release, use my TCG player link in the description down below. But we have the Armor up first, a 5-resource ground unit, Heroism Vigilance, 3/5 Mandalorian, and when played, give a shield token to each of up to 3 Mandalorian units. Now, the first thing that we have to mention about this is that from the way this reads and the way this acts, it should be able to go ahead and give itself a shield, which means that you really only need 2 other Mandalorian units. It doesn't specify, give a shield token to each of up to 3 other Mandalorian units as these cards typically do. So essentially the Armor is a 5-resource 3/5 shielded. That's definitely below rate by a quite good margin, and I wouldn't want to play that. If it was a 4/5 shielded, I would consider it. Probably not good enough. If it was a 5/5 shielded, that would be interesting. But you also get 2 shields for other Mandalorian units. And this is where something gets a little bit more exciting, I would say. As remember, shield tokens are upgrades. And so this synergizes with things like Follower of the Way, which is also a Mandalorian. It synergizes with, of course, any other upgrade synergies that you might have in your deck. And it also gives you just a straight up shield token, which is pretty valuable in a lot of scenarios, right? Especially if you have like a low health, unit with high power, you could really get some big value out of shield tokens. There's also one other really important synergy that I wanted to mention as, we went over it yesterday, but that is Rose Tico, who is in the same colors, the same aspects as your Armor. And this is enabling you to defeat those shield tokens for additional experience tokens. So we might see something pretty synergistic between the Mandalorians and Rose Tico, which again, I talked about Mandalorian Blue in my previous video, which has the upgrade theme alongside all of its cards, but also runs, it looks like, most likely quite a bit of Mandalorians. And if we're able to get those 2 additional shield tokens off of the Armor, then I would be pretty happy to play with that card. Again, the Armor isn't particularly great. We don't have the Armor in the official card list yet, but let me just pull back over to Facebook here. This looks like a reasonably powerful card. If you're able to get the 3 shield tokens, I could see this being played, but I do think that you really need to at least get an additional shield in order for this card to be exciting. And at any point, and if you get 2 additional shields, then we're starting to talk about something really good. It does not interact with control decks well. Again, this is very much a mid-rangey value card against unit combat. If you're getting it removed, then this card does absolutely nothing, and so that is a little worrisome, but seems like a pretty decent card for those archetypes. And the second card that we have today, and this is the one that got me a little scared, is Boba Fett. A brand new Boba Fett leader. This one's the Daimyo version. I knew this was coming. We talked about this about like a month ago, I think, at this point. But basically, we saw the picture of Boba Fett on his throne, and I figured that would be a new Boba Fett leader, and it looks like that is the case. This one is a Heroism Boba Fett, though, which is obviously the exact opposite of what we had before. Command Heroism, so a little bit different because the other one was Cutting Villainy. So this one's an Underworld, and when you play a unit that has 1 or more keywords, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, give a friendly unit +1/+0 for this phase. Very interesting, as we haven't really seen a lot of cards interact with keywords, like specifically. This is something that doesn't come up very often in like Magic, for example. You don't really care about the keywords, but having a whole leader dedicated to wanting keywords on your units is pretty interesting. This essentially gives you +1/+0 every single round for a friendly unit if you kind of build your deck around the keywords. Is that powerful enough? It's essentially playing like an aggro deck with the ability to ping your opponent for 1 or deal 1 damage to your opponent every single turn. I don't know if that's powerful enough. If this said, when you play a unit that has 1 or more keywords, You may exhaust this leader. If you do, give a unit +1/+0 for each keyword on that unit for this phase. I could see something really, really powerful brewing, right? On the backside here, this is also kind of part of my worry. This is a 6 resource 4/7, and each other friendly unit that has one or more keywords gets +1/+0. So if you look, the other Boba Fett is a 5 resource 4/7. It's literally just 1 resource cheaper, and the effect is very clearly more powerful in a lot of scenarios. You need to have a wide board for this effect to be even relevant, right? You need to have like 2 to 3 units, and you're getting +2, +3, +0, that type of situation, right? Okay, that's reasonable, but it's basically just like playing a red 3, you know? That's the kind of situation that you're in. Now, red 3 for this could be really good. You know, we could play it in a heroism, you know, green red shell, just like we were playing Sabine green and Leia red, as it is a heroism card. So you can play things like red 3 and really pump up your team. But to be honest, if you're playing those aggressive shells in the meta right now, you're not going to have a wide board. The most units I have on the battlefield, if I'm playing Sabine green or Leia red, is like 2 to 3. That is the most. And those are in situations where I'm already winning the game. Right? If I'm in like a tie scenario, or I'm like in a very close scenario, I probably just want to have a unit that's going to do their work on their own, like a K2SO, for example, and then just die and do something useful, right? I'm not really impressed with Boba Fett. Again, I saw Boba Fett, I was like, oh no, you know, this has been the boogeyman of the format for quite some time. Everyone's a little bit annoyed with Boba, or at least most people are a little bit annoyed with Boba. I have gone past that very recently, as I've just been playing Vader Blue, and Vader Blue is just so good against Boba Green. It's just so fun to play. And I even built the deck of paper. I'll have a video on that either today or tomorrow, because I brought it to a store showdown, and well, we did pretty well, I'll say that. But this Boba leader is significantly less powerful, I would say, than our other Boba leader. And the fact that we need to play around the keywords and that we only get +1/+0, I'm just not really impressed with it all that much. We will see. Maybe there's some sort of underworld deck going on, and you can synergize with the fact that he is underworld, but the fact that he's not a rebel, so he doesn't synergize with the heroism rebel cards that we currently have, the fact that, you know, we need keywords on our units. I guess this does something with like Clone Deserter, for example. If we look at like some of the more recent ads, like Clone Deserter, for example, this one, oh, let me just, there we go. This one has a keyword, right? Restore 1, and has bounty, right? These are the keywords. So you can play this on turn 1. It has no, it's not a unique or anything like that. So you can potentially play 2 of these on turn 1, exhaust Boba, and, you know, you're attacking for 3 on turn 2, which is pretty powerful, you know? So there are options that with a new set that make this card a little bit more appealing. And so we could see definitely some really, really powerful synergies potentially. Another example of this could be something like Sundari Peacekeeper, right? This has 2 keywords. Another example of this is Echo, right? This is a very powerful card, and I imagine you could, you know, discard something, give it +2/+2 in terms of experience, you know, discard another Echo, and then you attack, and you can exhaust Boba, you know, and boom, you are attacking for +1/+0, so that could be really powerful. However, I don't think that the +1/+0 is enough, and then the backside isn't really giving you any extremely valuable like effect or stats or whatnot. But we will have to see. I think that the experience synergies that we're seeing with like armor and Echo and like these types of situations are a lot more appealing to me. It's just a matter of, can you deal with the control decks? Because I don't think that we have a situation where we can at the current moment. But stay tuned, guys. I'll keep you updated on all the new cards coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think about Boba Fett and the Armorer. More cards to come and more videos to come. See you tomorrow.